Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today for a long overdue garage update. Now of course I was in the USA for about 2 months, came straight back over to the Frankfurt Motor Show, then went for a stop at Bugatti on my way back home, where I was at home for literally 8.5 hours before I picked up the new Toyota Supra and drove it straight back to go to Cars and Coffee Munich. Well, today I'm going to be going to my garage, believe it or not, for the first time in 2.5 months. Now let's have an update on all of the cars, the two newest additions to the Shmee 150 garage behind me, the G63 and the Supra, but what's going on as well with the Senna, the Ford GT out in the USA still, the 675LT Spider, the GT8, the GTC4Lusso, the two Focus RSs, and also of course the AMG GTR and the inbound GTR Pro. I'm going to give you an insight into the spec of that as well, but we'll run through all of the cars and the plans for them coming up in a bit, as I said, of an overdue garage update. The really fun thing actually about the Toyota GR Supra and the AMG G63 being parked side by side is that these two cars are actually built in the same facility in Graz, Austria. Now I went there to see this being built at Magna-Steyr, but despite that being a Mercedes and that being a Toyota in partnership with BMW, they are both built by Magna-Steyr in Graz, which is really kind of cool. So the Toyota GR Supra, the newest addition to the garage, of course you guys have been seeing a lot of videos with that over the last few days. It now has about 1,750 kilometers on the clock. As soon as the 2,000 are done and it's fully run in, I'll take it back to the Nürburgring to have even more fun with it. We'll talk more in the future about modifications and things that might be coming with that. The previous arrival in the garage was the AMG G63. Now I last saw this car over in London. It was driven over here to Germany by Schmark. My girlfriend's been driving it while it's been here, but of course after the Topaz skin was completed, we had it at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. And the funny thing is, I last saw that car with 400 miles on the clock. It now has, in kilometers, about 2,900. So it's gone up quite substantially since we last saw it. Now I will be doing some videos with it soon. There might be something to come to do with what we have here. Watch that space, all in the coming week or two, and I'd love to take it as well for a lap of the ring. Now those two cars, in my eyes, make for a pretty cool garage, side by side, and obviously we also have the matching license plates, SH18MEE, SH19MEE. A few people have asked me why I didn't get SH69MEE on the Supra, which would actually have been the current number year, the sequence, but the reason for it is if you imagine we're covering the SH and then you have 69 me, you might be able to work out why the DVLA didn't actually allow that one to be issued. Alas, that wasn't possible, but that's a quick update then for what's going on with these two. It is time now for me to head to the airport, catch a flight, go home and visit the garage for literally the first time in ages. And just like that, I'm back in the car storage here in London. Now to go from Frankfurt to London normally takes me, if it's a quick run, to go to the airport to have the flight and to get into the city at the other end, about 4.5, maybe 5 hours. So it's not too bad if you consider that driving to do the 500 miles, including the Eurotunnel, can take 9 or 10, or if traffic is really bad, maybe 11. Anyway, I made it back over, stopped off at home to sort some things out before coming here to be reunited with some of the cars that I have not seen for a very long time. So we have the Heritage RS and the Vantage GT8, both of which have been in hibernation under their covers on the tyre cushions, and you might be wondering, there are some other cars here, those are not mine, they've been parked there temporarily. I will get those spaces back as soon as some of my cars return, because of course there are many that are not here at the moment. The Senna, the GT, the 675LT, the GTC4Lusso, the Red RS, the AMG GTR. Yep, that's it. I've got currently 10 cars at the moment, which is moderately silly. I know it makes no sense, but hopefully it makes for some interesting videos and different insight into the cars. The two that are in Germany and these two that are here, that is the complete roundup. So these two then, the Heritage RS and the GT8, like I said, they've both been parked up for the last couple of months. The GT8 hasn't been moved at all, so I'm going to start that up and probably take it out for a drive later on myself. The Heritage RS was driven around by somebody who helped me with some of my cars recently because I don't have a trickle charger for it, so just to make sure it's kept up and running. But both cars are clean and tidy underneath their covers. SH68MEE, and in this case we have SH16 MEE, the Vantage GT8, and I love these two colours actually when they're sitting side by side. This colour is called Teeth Orange, the flat orange paintwork of the Heritage, and then the GT8 has the Golf Orange accents against the Cobalt Blue. And those two oranges are incredibly similar, and for the same reason that I spec'd the blue and orange, kind of contrasting but also complementary colours, these two side by side, it's quite a bold statement, but I think they look really, really cool. Anyway, the Heritage RS, I think it's got about 4,000 miles on the clock at the moment. One thing I'm thinking about doing, orange brake calipers. What do you think? Paint matched orange brake calipers? I think these ones, I said this when I picked up the car, always looked a little bit, well, they're unpainted, they're just grey. And, well, maybe they could look a little bit nicer against the satin black of the wheels. The GT8, noisy as ever, still thinking about whether I should do the supercharger. More on that, maybe in the future. That car's, well, coming up to being 3 years old. In about 3 months' time, 3 or 4 months' time, I'll have had it for 3 years. That time has absolutely flown by. Now, I'm just going to pull back this cover completely, actually. Many of you will know that my cars live here in a private car storage. I know some of you think it's just a place that's open to the public, but it is actually a car storage. There are lots of very, very nice cars around, which is why mine live here, plugged into trickle chargers, and they're all kind of at home. This is where they get to hibernate. I'm just going to lift this up so that when I do fire it up, it isn't going to have the exhaust problem with the cover over it. So there we go, exhaust is open, trickle charger currently running into the boot, and I do actually have, just fumbling for it in my pocket, the crystal key. I don't often use this, generally for risk of dropping it and cracking it or something, but it is very nice. In fact, I don't think I've used that for about 2 years. Just pop open the trunk. Gosh, I've become all American. Pop open the boot, I should have said. Lift this up gently, and then just in here is where it unplugs. Plug the trickle charger, put that on the floor just for the second, close this back down. There we go. Let me come and take a step inside here then, because the startup of this thing is always monumentally epic. It is one of the greatest sounds in the world, as I'm sure you will know, despite having not heard it on the channel for quite a long time. We've got 6,504 miles on the clock, but let me just put this in here, spin the camera around so that you guys can take a listen. Oh yes! That thing never skips a beat. Honestly, the GT8 has never let me down. Actually, no, it did skip one beat. It did have a small sensor issue to do with the oil level. That was a small beat it skipped, but relatively to other cars, I've had no concerns with this, and it sounds mega. But we'll let it burble away for a bit, just to make sure it's warmed up, and then I can tell you a little bit about some of the others. On to the others, and I'm sorry that they're not here for me to be able to, I guess, show you a little bit more, but the Senna first, the one that you're all asking me about following the incident now about 3 months ago. Well, the car is of course being repaired. I did an update when I was in the US telling you a little bit more about this at the time. I'm expecting to see it back before the end of the year, but as I explained, a few of the components, the big components like the door for example, actually need to be manufactured. They're not things that are kept in stock. That of course lengthens the process slightly, but the paintwork is ready and set to be done at McLaren. Then of course it's going to be reassembled, and eventually we'll see it back in the garage. Now I'm hoping to be able to give you a proper update and to go and see the car myself in the coming days, and of course if that happens I will let you know about it at the time. Then also the other cars, the 675 LT Spider, I said that went back to the dealer to have a thorough check over for its 3rd year anniversary. They found a few small things with it that need to be fixed to extend the warranty, to make sure that it's all good, to get it through the MOTs, so that's still being worked on. It went away while I was off in the US. I'm expecting it to be back very soon. I would love to have the car back to enjoy the last of the summer weather with the roof down, the only convertible in my garage, so fingers crossed that comes back before long. The Ferrari GTC4Lusso has been with my dad. He's still got the car at the moment, but I would like to go and pick it up, to take it for a drive, maybe shoot a video with it in the next week while I'm still here in the UK too, so expect to see something with the Lusso coming very soon. The Red RS has been with Mountune. They've taken it to a couple of events while I've been away, which is why some of you you might have seen it, despite me not being here. I know it's been very confusing based on some of the direct messages that I've seen along the way. The AMG GTR is still for sale at the moment, despite the GTR Pro hopefully coming in the next couple of weeks. Now, what I don't know about the GTR Pro is whether it's going to arrive before I go back to the US or not. If it arrives, then of course you will see it. If it doesn't, then it will have to wait until I return at the end of my tour. And speaking of the GTR Pro, lots of you have asked me what specification I've gone for, and I did reveal this kind of at the back end of a video I shot in summer when I announced the GTR Roadster at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. But the interesting thing about the way they're doing the specifications of the GTR Pros here in the UK at least is that you can't really configure them. They all come completely loaded with every single option ticked. So with the complete specification of a paintwork, with the stickers, with carbon ceramics, with all of the louvres, you get all the exterior carbon packs, you get all the interior technology. It is all standard, one fixed price where you can choose a few different color schemes. Now I went with something different, in fact something I don't think I've had for a very long time. I chose to have the car in white, diamond white as they call it, a very bright pearlescent metallic white, a color that will look incredibly good with the grey stripes over the car, the grey bonnet and side stripes that it has, as well of course with all the contrast that you get through the louvres, the end plates at the rear, the wing on the back, all of that contrast, the black and white, almost stormtrooper effect. Remember that the GTR Pro comes with titanium grey wheels and brake calipers as well, so it all hopefully will come together quite nicely as a package. At least that's my intention with the GTR Pro. Quite different. I had the black AMG GTR and now the white GTR Pro. Some of you might be wondering about the stickers because you could only have them in satin grey, or if you had the satin grey paintwork of the car, you could have them in the bright lime green. That's it from factory. You can't change them any other way. Of course, you can do your own stickers aftermarket retrospectively, but I ordered it diamond white with the satin grey stickers. So hopefully we will find out whether that's going to be coming before I go back in the not too distant future. The only other car is of course the Ford GT, the car that you've seen so much of over the summer, which is still out in California at the moment, ready for me to go back in a couple of weeks for this onwards part of the tour. I'm going to be going from LA through to Vegas, then maybe I'll have a few flight stops before going into Texas. I'm going to stop in a few different places in Texas before I get back in a plane to head up to the northeast to go around Boston, Washington DC, Pittsburgh. Then I'll take the GT to Detroit, to Chicago, then the car will fly off from Chicago. That will be the end of the tour. I will still hopefully go to the Austin Formula 1 and hopefully to SEMA in Las Vegas myself, but this is going to be the continuation, basically part 2 of the most incredible tour of my life. And I actually can't wait to get back out there, but even before that, I've got quite a lot still going on around Europe. So for the time being, I'm going to take the GT8 out for a little drive. Maybe we'll have another video with that before too long. But that's, I guess, pretty much a garage update, what's going on with all of the cars that are currently in the fleet. It's certainly quite a lot to think about with all of them, where they're going, what they're doing, what needs to be done on them, servicing. In fact, that needs a service, thinking about it. It's 12 months old. This is exactly why I need to make these videos more often, so that I know what's going on with all of the cars. I do have an app on my phone that helps me a little bit, but despite that, sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. Anyway, that's it for now. Great to be back in the UK. Lots more to come in the coming days. So thank you very much, as always, for your support, guys. That's it for this time, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.